Good afternoon. It is a rainy, wet, and damp Sunday here in New England, and this is yet another year where we're getting things ready to go, de-winterizing, getting the camper restocked, and whatever. And in the process of doing all that stuff, I'd asked my wife, "Hey, is there anything that you'd like to have me take care of?" I have my own list of things I need to do. She does too, but sometimes it's nice to just touch base. Is there something you need me to do? And I kind of try to prioritize the things that I'm doing so that if she asks me or something comes up that's going to take several hours to do, that I'm prepared for that. And that, if you start doing a bunch of small things, knocking a whole bunch of things out, and you run into, early afternoon, and then suddenly you're into something that if it breaks and you got to work on it, it's going to take hours to do. There's not enough hours left in the day before it gets dark or whatever. And I'd rather have the better part of the day in front of me in order to fix things if I have to. So she suggested, hey, well, we're going to need the washer dryer. Why don't you just make sure that works? I'd appreciate that. I said, well, yeah, that's not a big ask by any means, but if something is wrong, something went wrong with it, at least I'll have the better part of the day to deal with it. So came out this morning. I started doing the setting up to do cleaning and whatever and get things stocked, and I started the washer. Nothing in it, no soap or anything. Made sure that it started and was doing its thing, and I walked out of the camper, went inside, and started grabbing some clothes and things. And it had been about half an hour or so. I don't remember exactly how long it was, but I came back into the fifth wheel and it was quiet. There wasn't any washing, there wasn't any of the sound of the dryer going or anything. It's just, so it ended a lot sooner than it should have. Something wasn't right. Opened up the door and oh boy, I got green flashing lights, and I've got a very fast flashing power light, which is different from a pump failure. If you have a pump failure per se, you have certain green flashing lights, and then I think that red power light flashes a certain number of times, and then there's a pause, and it flashes a certain number of times, and it pauses. That code, anyway, you can look that up on the troubleshooting guide, and it'll tell you, at least with that smart, to say, hey, this is wrong, or this isn't working right. So, oh boy. It looks like it's a pump issue. There's still water in it. And what the heck am I going to do to take care of this? So the first thing was to go in, maybe by this time I'll be lucky and the Splendide pumps are available through Amazon, or I can get one on eBay. But a quick look in there kind of, shot that down. It doesn't look like those things are even yet available on, just on the open market. Which means a couple $100 through Splendid, and if I'm going to get it here before we leave, overnight charges, and oh man. So at least having had to do this beforehand, I knew what I needed. And if you're looking at this for the first time and you are, I got to fix this pump, and I got this problem, before you do anything, and we're already, 3 minutes into this thing, before you do anything to this, you have to realize or have to know that there is just a very thin piece of sheet metal underneath the center of that washer dryer. Do not stick anything underneath it and try to pry that washer up, especially if it has any water in it, because you are going to damage stuff. So you have to get like a flat pry bar and a couple of different thicknesses of wood. Start off with a thin piece of wood and go to a thicker piece of wood, and get the unit up off the ground a little bit so that you can get a tray or trays underneath the drain and drain the water out of the drum. You got to do that. Get the water out so you can unlock it. Well, not necessarily unlock it. If you have clothes or something in it you want to get out, you'll be able to unlock it at that time, and I'll show you how to do that. But just scrap wood, some a pry bar, lift the unit up, make sure that you don't have any other interference from hoses or whatever. And this is if it's on the floor. If you get one that's in the cabinet, it's not on the floor, then you're ahead of the game, I think. So the first thing you need to do is to make sure that the unit is not clogged with lint. So in using this, last year, not a lick of problem from, I don't know, April, and we used this thing right up through November, and we spent myself and a coworker, we spent a month in Wisconsin at a nuclear power plant outage. So we're doing laundry. He's doing laundry one day, I'm doing it the next, and we're going back and forth. And if you have one of these units, you know the drum is small. It doesn't take a lot of laundry in there at all. Maybe a couple of pairs of pants or pants, shirts, and whatever. So you have to keep moving along with the laundry to keep up with it, or you're going to spend a bunch of time trying to catch up. So anyway, not a lick of problem. But what happened, I think, and we didn't realize it, is the vented washer dryer models don't get rid of the lint the way they're supposed to. The lint is actually, from what I'm understanding, goes out through the drain. Well, lint can build up, and it does build up. So I'm going to change what I am doing. I was all rigged up to go ahead and get this unit set up for changing the pump out. So I'm going to show you right now where I was and when I stopped. All right. Notice the towels and all that stuff, and the pans. So those are fairly deep pans. They're about 2 inches or so. There's the black drain port that is on the right side. The green tab is a manual release for the door. Do not use that manual release if you have water in that drum. Don't do that. To get to those things, there's this white panel on the front, and it has clips up here. That one I ended up breaking off because I didn't know how to get this thing off, but I'm going to save you that issue with a clip here. And then on the bottom side, 3 more. So with this panel mounted like so on the bottom, all you have to do is just press up on the underside and just kind of, I don't know if you can see that, it's just going to flex that in enough so that you can pop the panel out. Just get your fingers in underneath and that pops off. Pop that off and then drain the water out. Now what I had to do when I was talking about the wood is there's like the 1x4s and stuff, the thinner pieces of wood that I used, and I got the left and right side up on, they're not quite 2x4s, I would call them maybe 2x3s. They're odd sized. So got it up on that with the what I was going to do is I'm going to have to slide the unit out, and I've got to turn it around, lay it down so that I can get to the pump, because the pump is directly behind that black port. That's where the pump is. So you're draining, you're draining stuff out of the front side of the pump, which is, okay, and that makes sense, and that's actually a good place for it to be. But in working on it, if you have to change the pump out, you're pulling the entire unit out, laying it down, and if you lay it down on its face, then you would be looking at the pump in the lower left-hand corner of it. And that's actually probably the easiest way to work on it. There's a couple of electrical connectors. They're just 12 volt DC or 24 volt DC connectors, some hose clamps, a couple of hoses. I mean, it's really simple to get in and out. It's just a bear getting the unit out of one of the holes that it's in and then back in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end up leaving it up on top of those 2x4s. I'm going to actually secure them a little bit better so they don't go anywhere. But if I have problems in the future, it's going to be a little bit easier for me to take care of it. And additionally, at the end of the season, when you winterize and you drain everything out or you blow your lines out, that lifting that unit up like that, you're able to take that plug out, and any remaining water in there will just you'll be able to drain that right out. It'll be dry, and then you're not going to have any issues with water freezing in there. What I normally like to do And for these units, probably not a bad idea. If you can't do that, is to into your fresh water tank, you put a gallon or two of RV antifreeze, and then draw that up through your lines. Now, some people are like, "Oh, I'm like, antifreeze? Are you crazy?" It's non-toxic. It's not going to hurt you. This is our sixth RV, and every one of those RVs, I was shown that beforehand. Every one of those RVs, I did the same thing. Run that stuff through the lines. You're all set. Now, I understand there are some people that are just, I'm not putting antifreeze in there. So another option is, and this is kind of a joke with one of the online forums, is go out and buy 4 handles of the cheapest vodka you can get your hands on, and then pour that into the freshwater tank. You're sanitizing the freshwater tank. Run the vodka up through your lines, and then next spring, when you're getting everything all cleaned up and you're pressurizing the system, you got to get the vodka out of there somehow. You'd be ashamed to waste it. And make cleaning up your RV just a joy. Anyway, so the other thing. So I was all prepped to go ahead and get this thing ready to change a pump out. But as it turns out, as I was draining the water, which was stuck in there, I was noticing I was seeing lint. Not a lot, but there was lint that was in the water. And I remembered reading online before that you could have lint stuck in the system, and if you do that, then run it on this setting and let it go, and it'll work fine, and you'll be all set. Well, if you're like me, listening to something like that sounds way too easy, and it's never going to work like that. It's going to be a pump replacement. Not only is it going to be a pump replacement, but when you get in there, you're going to find out that raccoons have been living in your washer dryer, and then you got big issues, and now you have to buy a new one, and there's something else, just a pile-on. Well, today was a little different. Today was a good day. So had the initial problem, looked at things, drained the water out, and I was getting ready to pull that sucker out. I was just going to save myself some time and pull the pump, so it'd be ready when the new one got here, when I ordered it. And I thought about it. I went back online and I looked at that suggestion. So I put the unit on I think it was setting number 2, which is heavy for cottons, and turned it on, and it was actually hung up on spin. So pressing and holding the start button resets everything. All the green lights turn on, and then it shuts off. So I hit the start again on number 2, and it filled with water. But just before it started to fill with water, it went through a I would say 2-second cycle where I heard it sounded like the pump turned on and something else, and it sounded to me like it drained. Well, that was a little bit strange. It'd be great if it did, but I really wasn't expecting that. So I connected our Rhino tank that we have. I'm going to step you right over here and show you. I connected the tank, and the hose is disconnected now, but that hose was connected to the tank, and there was nothing in it, no or anything. And it was hanging in midair. And I didn't purposely do it like that, but that's the way it was. So I heard this noise, sounded like it was draining. I went back over to the window, and that hose was now on the ground. It had weight in it. Holy cow, it drained. So while I was doing that, the unit filled, to about quarter full or whatever, and it started a wash cycle. All right, so I was actually I had a whole different tact with with videos I was doing, and I actually stopped and went back, and I ended up deleting them. And here I am, instead of I don't know, 5 or 6 installations of 6-minute long videos. Right now we're working on nearly 15 minutes, and sorry about the length, but hopefully you're getting something from this. So rather than go through the whole thing of removing the pump, I said, you know what? It's only going to cost me another hour of draining if I have to do it. I'll go ahead and try this. So I did that, and then lo and behold, it went through the wash cycle, and then it drained. I watched I could hear it, sound like it was draining. Look out the window and watch the hose just drop onto the ground, which means it was filling the gray tank. Holy cow! So right now it's on spin, and it'll go into dry, and it looks like everything is working the way it should. To make sure, I'm going to end up putting it on a different. No, I'm not going to put it on a different cycle. I'm going to do cottons again. So there's whatever that cycle does. There's some sort of extra thing that happens there, either a backflush or whatever, and that's what mattered. So I'll run that again. But in the good thing is the unit is running. It's spinning out, and it seems like everything is fine. Now, one of the things that clued me initially was the water that I was draining out and just putting into the toilet. And I think I still have some of that water in there. Let's see here. Nope, I got rid of it. So the water that was in there, another hint was there was lint in it, not clumps or anything or whatever. It was just all this fine lint that was in it. So I thought that was kind of strange. Clue. So all that stuff got taken care of, and it looks like it's running okay. So that's one of those things that really didn't sound like it was going to work, but hey, looks like it is, and it's pretty happy about that. So I might follow on with another quick one just to kind of summarize things and finish stuff up. But I think we're in good shape. So hope that helps somebody out there. If it did, please let me know. Subscribe if you like. Leave a comment, whatever. And have a good day.